So that's pretty much the groups menu for the factions. That's what you want to spawn. Now, as usual, the empty is more interesting. And in the groups menu, the empty will give us the compositions. Remember, we talked about the ZEC mod? These are the compositions. Now, Arma will come with very little compositions. We'll give you some camps to place and all that kind of stuff. But ZEC really expands on it. And of course, you can see some stuff here come from Ares as well. So you got a good selection. And what you can do with these things is make missions pretty quickly, as I will show you in the next part of this entire guide, which will focus around mission making. And that place these things and then edit them to specify for your mission. For example, I want a CSAT HQ. I want it now. I want to make it fast, and I don't want to bother too much about it. So I go to HQ large under military, and I go main headquarters op4, and I place this thing. I try to place that on like a pretty straight ground relatively as much as I can. Bam. It kind of lags out a bit because look at how many objects are including in this thing. And if we just press the backspace button for a second, we'll see the base. Take a look at that. How much detail the LCD guy really placed in here. Pretty nice. I like, sometimes it's a bit too much. He likes garbage. I mean, I assume that he wants to make it look realistic by just having a lot of objects around. I must admit that a lot of times I just delete this garbage. First of all, I get much less objects, which means much less lag for the server. And secondly, I don't know, military bases and garbage. In my military service, I can tell you that's not something that usually happens. You don't really see a lot of garbage around. You got a lot of soldiers that can clean up that garbage, so why not send them do it? So military bases are not known for just having piles of garbage lying around. So yeah, that is it. And as I said previously, by the way, I know I'm kind of invading the modules right now, which is our next one, but you can remove these objects. I assume you saw some Zeus operators do that. Before they actually place any units, they build all the objects in their mission. And then a good thing to do in order to avoid this clutter and to be able to place stuff properly is to use the add or remove editable objects function. Set it up for a radius that will probably take care of your problem and remove all the objects. Now don't worry, the main and important objects that you need to be able to control will kind of return to us in a second, and those will be usable for us, like this turret here or the cars here. As far as I know, they usually come back, and if they don't, you can set up the add or remove function to just remove certain things like static objects and such. So if I'm not getting back the stuff I wanted, I can add back the vehicles. There you go. And now I get all the vehicles and even the static positions, so I can lay on troops on them. And I can show you how to man this kind of base very fast, and we'll get to that in the next part. So this is the groups menu. We covered that one. Next one is the big one, the modules, and we'll just skip that for a second because it's the biggest one and I want to devote some time to it. But let's for a second speak about markers. Zeus markers are kind of unique to the fact that you can only place them in Zeus and you can only delete them in Zeus, and they're much more visible usually than the markers placed on the map. So when you build a mission, it's pretty nice idea to try and use these markers. For example, I can mark this thing as an objective and maybe even double click that and edit it to be up for HQ, like that. I can also maybe set up the AA zone. Oh, it's already red. The AA zone that I think the jet should avoid. So while if you want to place multiple things of the same thing you're holding and not have to just click and click again and click and click again, what you can do is just hold control and just click with it, and I can pretty much set up a neat display of kind of an area. that would look good on the map and show me a proper zone of where the planes should avoid, and I can do all that kind of thing. Now, it's important to remember, again, these objects can only, these markers can only be placed and deleted for Zeus, and you can only do them if you're on the markers menu. If I'm on the groups menu or the units menu, I cannot mark this or do anything with this. But if I'm on the markers menu, right, I can mark these things and delete them if I want to, or change them. So remember that. A lot of times you won't understand why you cannot mark that thing you placed. Last menu we have here is recent, just an easy access to the stuff you placed. For example, I placed this dot, so there it is. Of course, if I place it from here, I cannot edit it or access it because I'm not on the markers. So those are the other menus. Modules, the big one. All right, hope you're ready for that. This is where the power of Zeus really comes to fruition. So let's start out with some of the ace functions. Now, I must admit I use the ace function less than I use the Achilles functions. Some of them are duplicated, and so I would rather much use the Achilles functions because they are better made as far as I could have determined. So that's my personal preferences. Feel free to explore it yourself. So Ace AI, you can use that to tell the AI to defend an area. You can tell them to patrol an area, search a nearby building, put on suppressive fire, and you can define the global AI skill. Now, almost all of these functions are duplicated by Achilles, and I will show them from the Achilles side because, again, that's what I do, apart from the global AI skill. The global AI skill is a pretty neat function that allows you to open this menu and define the general skill, the accuracy, the weapon handling, the spotting, and the ability to seek cover or start automatically, switch combat modes automatically for all the AI that are already placed in the map. And I must stress that are already placed. So if I switch this function to set it up, do different things, and then place a group of AI, those will not be set up properly. So you need to place this module only after you place your AI, or do it in multiple times. What I like to do, in order to have better AI but not have cheaty AI, or that feel cheaty to the players, let's call it that, then I tweak up the general skill and I tweak up the weapons handling, which allows them to throw grenades, use their grenade launchers, use their AT a bit more, but I don't up the accuracy or spawning. That way we don't get aimbot AIs that can see you anywhere. Which is kind of a neat thing. That's how I kind of work it. So this is this menu, and again I'll show you most of these functions on the other menu that deals with it with Achilles. Ace Captive, pretty useful. The Ace system has an option to actually surrender. You can surrender yourself, and when you got a surrendered guy, you can actually tie him if you have zip ties on you. So this function enables me to just toggle somebody as surrendered, like so. There he's surrendering. Or I can toggle him as captive, so I can do the captive from this situation or even from the normal situation. I don't have to go first surrender then captive. I can just click captive on this guy, and he would just immediately get zip ties on his hands and will be able to be escorted by players anywhere. And this is a pretty useful function. For example, I want, there's a big firefight in here. This guy was demoralized and now he's surrendering. So I can't, unit must not be captured. You see, it can't be made the other way around. So this guy is surrendering now to our forces. And he will just stand here, and I assume they won't shoot him if they see him do this. And they will just approach him and then tie him up themselves. Or this guy is a captive and his CSAT friend need to rescue him. So I give him the captive one, and he is just tied up in a building waiting to be saved. So that's a captive. Medical. The medical system is pretty nice in Ace and allows us to do a lot of things. This medical menu allows me to quickly do a couple of those things. For example, let's put up an assault squad here. For example, I can assign a medic. I can make this marksman, this assistant auto rifleman, I can make him a medic. So now, like the medic in the squad, he can also give blood bags and give epinephrine, which he couldn't do before because I placed the assigned medic on him. You can also use all these functions on players, by the way. Assigned medical facility. I can pretty much lay out a building that will be a medical facility that if you try to medic somebody in it will actually be better than doing it outside of it. It will multiply the speed for doing things, and it will also be able to save the unsavable if you defined it in the map. So assign medical vehicle, same thing like the medical facility, only for a vehicle. Heal, for example, this guy here was injured. He was shot by his very mean friend that is going to shoot him. Right, and this guy is now unconscious. As you can see, he's lying unconscious on the ground because his mean friend shot him. So, as Zeus, I can easily just heal him up. And he's completely healed now. Gets up. Everything's fine. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. The blood on the floor is just an illusion. So that's the heal function. Injury. Kind of buggy sometimes, but it's pretty effective. You can give people certain wounds. I usually use it in order for the players to find a wounded person. For example, a helicopter crashed, the pilots are wounded, and they find them next to the helicopter. They need to medic them and rescue them. So you can set up the specific injuries you want. And you can set up the pain level, although this is the glitchy part. I wouldn't advise touching it because you won't be able to get rid of that pain afterwards for some reason. And you can set up the blood volume in his body. He has low blood and low heart rate. Force unconsciousness, again, don't touch it because that will force the unconsciousness and you won't be able to get him conscious unless you actually want that. Oh, this guy died. Wow. Okay, well, it's part of the AI, it's part of the definition for the map. AI dies 50-50 of the times, while players always get a chance to be rescued. So shit happens. They probably injured him a bit too much. Let's do a moderate for all these. There you go. That was a bit too much for the guy. So now he's wounded, and actually the AI knows how to medic. So the medic actually comes really quickly and sort him out. Well, he sorts himself out. He actually woke up on his own. Nice for him. And lastly, toggle unconsciousness, which pretty much puts you in and out of an unconscious state. Be aware that it's like giving an epinephrine. So if you want to help the players, because, I don't know, the medic went unconscious, if he's too wounded to get conscious, then he will get conscious when you put this on him and then immediately drop out of consciousness again. And it would have been like you gave him an epinephrine, which basically means, for those who know Ace Medical, that it counts to 1 of the free epinephrine he can get before he dies by the epinephrine overdose, by the attempts to revive him. So be careful with that function. Ace Repair, currently only able to add more tracks or spare wheels to a certain vehicle. So for example, this vehicle currently, if I go into this guy and use the Ace menu on the vehicle, this vehicle currently has a spare wheel in its cargo. And if I use the Ace function to add a spare wheel, and let's add another spare wheel, then this guy would be able to see more spare wheels in the cargo. There we go, we got 3 now. Amazing. So is true for the tracks. So that's Ace Repair. I really wish the Achilles guy or the Ace guy would add the ability to set up a repair facility and assign an engineer like we have in the Ace Medical menu, because those functions are really missing right now. Ace Utility. Ace Utility does a lot of weird stuff. Most of them I don't use because, again, most of them are duplicated by Achilles and are done better, and others are just a bit bugged, really. So I don't use the Arsenal, I don't use the group side, the remove Arsenal from object, the teleport players, toggle simulation, and update editable objects. It'll remove fries, which is the fast roping system. is possible through here, and I rarely use it, but in general I don't touch Ace Utility. That's my preference. You can explore it if you want. AI behavior, that's the big one. Here we have, as you can see, my favorite, all of the Achilles functions and some of the Ace functions that have been enhanced, and these are pretty amazing. Let's start out with ambient animation. If you have done mapping for Arma, you know that ambient animation can pretty much give us some nice things like, let's say, briefing. This guy's standing and briefing his men right now. How very heroic of him. That's a pretty awkward pose as well. So basically I can give out animations for people. So for example, this officer can be sitting on the floor or repairing, let's say he's repairing that vehicle over there. So he's repairing vehicle Neil. And I can set him into the animation and then move him around so that the animation fits exactly what he's doing. And look, he's repairing the wheel, which is actually looks really, really neat. It's not really hard to set. He kicks it because he's angry or something. And yes, these animations are pretty neat. Now, as if you saw when I opened up the menu, you can set the type of animation to him. You can also stop the animation at the top. And you can set up if the person is combat ready or not. Now, if you set it to false, the person will just stick to the animation no matter what. Now, if it is true, like I made for these two guys, the guys will get out of the animation in order to engage if they see any danger to them. So, if I put a heavy gunner here, these guys will see him, and then they'll get out of their animation, hopefully, because they're completely blind. Hello? Hello? There's a CSAT right in front. There you go. The officer got out of the animation really quick. I don't know why he's not shooting him. He's glitching out a bit. Oh, because he's behind the vehicle. There you go. Now you shot him. I don't know what this guy's doing. He's apparently briefing still. But let's ignore him. So yeah, that's ambient animations. Really nice. Change abilities. Not something I use often because it kind of fucks up with what the AI can do. But you can change the AI ability to do pretty much anything. Take cover, pathing, suppress, move, you know, stuff like that. Change altitude. Usually I use this to troll players if I really, really want to. You just change the altitude of a guy. Now, you can use that to put him on the roof, of course, although I can just do that by holding Alt and going up and down like this. But if I want to launch this guy in the air, let's say 100 meters will do. No? Maybe because he's tied to a group. Change altitude. 100 meters. Wow. All right. Well, it works on players. So if you want to shoot your players up in the air, that's how you do it. I think it also here to kind of allows you to move players the same way I can use this AI using the Alt key. So maybe that's why it's here. I don't know, because it doesn't work for these guys. Chatter makes this guy talk. I can click on him, select which channel he will talk to, global channel, for example, and then I write up his message, and he talks. His name is apparently Basharat Muhtaram. So he says, hey, garrison building, one of the most effective ones for building missions. Pretty much garrisons the unit in the building that is garrisonable close to them. All right, some buildings are not able to be manned by AI because they don't have pathing in them. This one is. Normal houses are. So just places them in random locations, and they pretty much are in guarding positions. And also after you garrison these guys, they don't hold formation anymore, of course. So if you're not satisfied with where they were garrisoned, you can move them around. I can put this guy inside here, for example. You will just stay there and watch everything. They will respond to enemies and everything, so you don't have to worry about that. Have a seat. You need to find a viable chair for this function, because not all chairs apparently are viable. So if I'm not mistaken, this one is viable. Let's find out. Have a seat. Mr. So you click have a seat on the chair, and then it says select the unit to which the module should apply. So I select this engineer and press enter. And there we go, he's sitting down. Now, whether he will get up when he sees an enemy or not is a big question. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But it's a pretty neat one, especially if you want just kind of an atmospheric thing with civilians and such. So you can do that. Patrol loiter, very effective. Unlike the one for Ace up there, you can actually set the patrol loiter on anything, not just helis. It says on heli there, but you can set it on everything. So I set the squad to patrol in a radius of 100 meters. Be relaxed when they do it. Counterclockwise, and let's delay 15 seconds in each point. And there you have it. They have a route around them, and they will repeat it. And if I want, I can delete some of these points. I can move them around to kind of change the way this patrol works. So yeah, they just will do that in the triangle. And the neatest thing about that is the ability to make them hold in the location for a while, take a look, and then move around again. So that's that. Search and garrison building. Same as garrison, only instead of teleporting them into the garrison positions, they will garrison the next building by first searching it for enemy and then just taking positions in it. So if I tell them, they will garrison their nearby building. Here they go. They open the door, they get in it. These guys apparently are coming up from the back, which is a pretty neat thing, actually. Pretty nice that they're kind of surrounding the building and then going. One of them will probably go upstairs in a second. Yep, they're already upstairs, opening doors, looking for the thing. And once they are done, they will just hold their positions inside that thing like they have been garrisoned. Search building. Same thing, except at the end, instead of garrisoning the building, they will get out. Let's skip the suicide bomb for a second. Skip the center unit. Ungarrison. These guys have been garrisoned by me. I can click the ungarrison on them, and they will just get out of the building. They will find a door and just leave. Surrender unit. It's an okay function. You can use it, especially if you don't have ace. You can use it to your benefit. You can actually surrender unit or tie unit. So let's tie him, and once the friendlies get to him, they can release and lead him, so he will join their squad. And this guy will sit down tied, and it looks much better than the ace one, except they won't be using the ace menu to release this guy, and they won't be able to affect him using the ace menu. Because this guy will be able to only be released by the normal Arma interaction. So if I'm this guy, for example, I will be able to come up to him, and there you go, you see? Hold enter to release unit. So I will have to actually release him like this instead of through the ace menu. And then he will join my squad. So it's usable even if you have ace, but I just tend to use the ace stuff, really. In this case, I pretty much prefer it. And last thing that was added pretty recently is the suicide bomber. So let's say we have a civilian here that really hates CSAT. He's really angry. They destroyed his house. So we set this guy to be a suicide bomber. We can set the explosion size. We can set how deadly it is. Very deadly. Activation distance and patrol radius. So he will patrol. If you want him to patrol, he will just stand. If you want him to stand, which is 0. And activation distance is how close does it need to be to enemies to actually notice them and then start moving toward them. So let's set it up for 20 to be safe. He will explode on op 4. Activation side up 4, and there he goes. You should be noticing them now, moving toward them, and bang. Bang? Oh, he wants to do it in the house, apparently. Well, can't really... Oh, and he was shot. Well, it wasn't really a successful suicide bomber, this guy. It took his time, but trust me, it works. We did it in a couple of missions. It's a really, really, really neat add-on. By the Achilles guy, so good job on that. So that's the AI behavior menu. Animals, that's through a vanilla Arma. You can just place different animals. It's pretty neat. You can move them around and have people kill them. Won't have a lot to talk about that. Arsenals. You can create arsenals of different types on everything. You can place them on units. You can place them on objects. You can place them on boxes. And you can add a full arsenal, a filtered arsenal that you actually decide. You can copy to clipboard what the arsenal is. You can create their versions of basic faction arsenals. And you can paste arsenals from the outside. Audio. You can play music from the Arma library for a certain side if you want, or a group. And you can pre-hear the song here like this. And then when you click OK, after you set the music volume, it will play for all the players that you set to be able to hear it in the server. Radio message. Don't use it too much, but just radio message coming from a certain side. Time is running out. Objective failed. Blah, 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 blah. You can set that out. Play sound. Usually we use this for the alarm sound. And as you can see, it's distance dependent. So as I get closer, the alarm goes louder. And this is actually the source of it. And if I delete this, it will stop, which is neat.